Hey, what's up, guys? Happy Friday. As I started recording this, I think my cats are getting into a fight. So that's pretty exciting. Since we're talking about World War One, we're going to have wars happening in the background of the video. I'll pause, and she's very graceful. um, Hope you guys are doing well. So some updates. Governor Cooper just gave an address at 3 o'clock on Thursday afternoon. I'm recording this on Thursday. He just gave it, and he's extending the stay-at-home orders for another week until May the 8th. And then he's got a multi-phase plan to get us back into like normal life. Basically, at any time, we can fall back to another phase if more and more people are getting sick and everything else. A little history lesson. We had a Spanish flu that hit in the United States. It started in Kentucky. I'm rusty on this. I should have looked it up ahead of time. I'm not really sure why they called it the Spanish flu, but it started in Kentucky, and it was 100 years ago, and it was very similar to this in the way that it impacted the economy and a few other things. But whenever the Spanish flu started, at first, like 5 to 6 million people were infected, and then we kind of jumped back into things a little too quickly. And the next thing you know, 50 to 60 million people are infected in the second wave. And that's what we're trying to do is prevent the second wave from being as big. Um, with what Governor Cooper was saying, I don't expect us to be back in school the remainder of the school year, but I could be completely wrong. And I hope I am because I'd like to go back to regular, normal things. Just to go ahead and show you the assignment for today, guys. uh, on World War One, the long range causes. There's four of them, and I've got them right here. We're going to talk about them all in just a moment. So you should be able to get this done just by following along um, with the notes. You won't need anything else. So World War One, and I'm going to type something in here. Sorry, my hair's messed up. One of the great things about isolation, you don't have to comb your hair every day. I just wear a hat and kind of covers up my messy hair. World War One from 1914 to 1918. Trivia fact number one: World War One was not called World War One until the end of World War Two. Before that, it was called the Great War because at that time it was the greatest war that anybody had ever seen. Not great because it's just so awesome, but great because of how big it was and how many people died and the impact of the war. And it was called the War to End All Wars. And I think that's a great, great, great analysis of it. And I think that's because, and I'm going to write down a second little thing here. This is the way that I've always remembered it. It's a new style of war fought in the old style of fighting. I'll move that up. It's a new style of war fought in the old style of fighting. And what I mean by that, guys, is you can see we got a machine gun here. We haven't talked much about the transition of warfare with guns and things, but the common thing was that one side would line up here, one side would line up here. These guys would shoot, these guys would shoot, these guys would shoot, these guys would shoot, and then they would run at one another and stab one another like civilized gentlemen. That's cool when you've got a rifle that's incredibly inaccurate and it takes you like 30 seconds to load it if you're really fast. Most people couldn't do that. That's why the Minutemen were called the Minutemen. They could fire, reload, and fire again in a minute. Um, Random American history knowledge. Now you got a machine gun. If you have people lining up at one another and you got a machine gun that can keep shooting, you're going to kill a lot more people. Throw into that, this is the first war with tanks and planes and grenades and machine guns and poisonous gas, and people are still lining up against one another, which is why this is the war to end all wars. There will never be another war like this one. The movie 1917 does a really, really good job showing this, and I think I might try to pull a clip if I can find some on YouTube and have you guys watch it of them going through no man's land and everything else. We don't have many notes that we got to take today, um, because I just want to focus on what gets the war going. The United States does not get involved until late in the war, but a lot of countries around the world do get involved very early. So, excuse me. We got long range causes and we got a short range cause. Long range causes are things that happen over years and years and years and years. A short range cause is something that happens and then it causes the war to start. The long range causes, first one's nationalism. Nationalism's loving your country. Now, here's the thing. There's a good kind of nationalism and there's a bad kind of nationalism. If you're patriotic, that's awesome. I'm patriotic. I love the United States. I love North Carolina. I mean, right now I'm wearing my favorite baseball team, the Braves. I'm wearing an Appalachian shirt, and I've got North Carolina tattooed on the inside of my arm. I'm a patriotic person, and I have pride in the things that I support. Nationalism is whenever you're starting to turn that pride in where you're from into hatred to people from other things. That would be like me seeing somebody that goes to another school than App and me hating them because they went to another school from App. That would be like me walking into Walmart and seeing somebody wear a New York Yankee or a Boston Red Sox or a Washington Nationals. And although I don't root for those teams, I can't hate somebody because they probably grew up somewhere near and watched those teams growing up. Nationalism and thinking that you're number one is going to end up getting you in a fight with somebody else. Number two, imperialism, what we just talked about, creating an empire. The thing is, if only one place wanted to make an empire, it would be cool. There would be one empire. But there's like five countries that want to make an empire and they want to make it all at the same time. So that means they're all competing over the exact same area and they all think that they're number one. So that's going to get some stuff going. Number three, alliances. This is the point in class in which I would say close your eyes and raise your hand if this applies to you. Raise your hand if you've ever said or had someone say, do you have my back? You know, you're getting ready to get into a fight with somebody and you ask, do you have my back? It happens a lot. I've been asked, I'm sure I've asked somebody that before. Um, but basically, guys, alliances are when, let's say, I'm going to get in a fight with Mr. Fontaine. He and I, he's in the classroom next door. He's just so loud. Um, I'm sure he's yelling at his students wherever he is right now. But let's imagine that I'm going to fight Mr. Fontaine, but he goes to my cat Katie and it's like, hey, yo, you got my back. And Katie's like, yeah, I'm a cat, but I got your back. And then she goes to my other cat, Eiley, and it's like, hey, I'm getting ready to get into a fight. You got my back. And then it keeps going and keeps going. Well, Eiley doesn't know me. Eiley's got Katie's back, who's got Mr. Fontaine's back, who's fighting me. She don't even know what's going on. These alliances got really, really big and really, really drawn out. And the thing is that a lot of times the cat at the end didn't know why they were fighting the person in the beginning. And then number four, militarism. All right, so militarism is the idea that if you've got guns, you want to use it. All right. For this example, I always think of, let me check my timer, a bodybuilder. All right. A bodybuilder is somebody who goes to the gym, they work out, they get real big. If they're in the gym, they're not wearing a shirt. Why do they want to show off what they did? If you spend all your time building up your military, you're going to want to go kill people. All right. And that's exactly what they did. They went out and they killed people. Right. I always think of my soon-to-be brother-in-law, my sister and her boyfriend got engaged right at the beginning of the Corona vacation, um, and they're getting married in September, and I'm super excited for them. But my soon-to-be brother-in-law Ben works out all day, every day. Dude is ripped. Dude's got muscles on muscles on muscles. And I remember we went to the beach like 4 years ago, and we were getting ready to go to a restaurant. It was on the island we were staying, and Ben's got his shirt over his shoulder. And I'm like, dude, you know you got to wear a shirt, right? He's like, yeah, I know. I'll put it on when I have to. And he's just this big, huge, muscly guy, but he's like the sweetest guy on earth. And we walk all the way to this place. He's got a button up shirt, right? We finally get to the door, and there's somebody like the hostess at the door. And they're like, all right, everybody's got to wear shoes and everybody's got to wear a shirt. And he's like, oh, okay. And he put on his shirt and he buttoned one button. That was it. You could see tattoos sticking out here. Like it was so tight that the sleeves were up here and they were pinned really tight. His tattoos were sticking out. He's also in the military, so he's got tattoos and everything else sticking out. And I swear, as soon as we walked out of that restaurant at the end of the night, as soon as we walked outside, he had the shirt off and it was going over his shoulder and everything else. So that's the long range causes. That's all I wanted to get today. We've already seen the assignment. There's four of them. There's three things that you got to do. Number one, you just got to describe what each of those are by themselves. Number two, you have to think what could that mean in a context of World War One, which I. And then number three, I want you to think, could that happen today in the world in the way that we're living? And that could be with COVID going on or without COVID going on. If you one or the other. All right. That was my alarm going off, meaning that I need to go ahead and jump off here. If you guys got any questions, hit me up and remind everything else. And I will see you guys uh, next time. Coronavirus song of the day is um, oh man, I had a good one. Um, Dang it. I've gotta go quickly. My phone's right here. The coronavirus song of the day is click on my playlist. Oh, from Rihanna, the song Stay. Remember you should stay inside and not travel out anywhere. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.